Hello everybody, so I wanted to pop in and share with you guys and just keep you guys posted and updated on my journey or my insights, realizations, things that I learned on this journey because of my conscious involvement in my own expansion. So I'm going to dive right into it. So I implemented like plant medicines as a tool into my practices and into uh, just kind of another thing that I use, a spiritual tool that I use in exploring consciousness. So I had like a very deep experience. I've had a few deep experiences over the past few weeks. One of them, I had an experience where I was really kind of communicating with the plant because these plant spirits communicate with us, and from an intuitive level, if you really like tune in and pay attention, you can like literally like dialogue with these plants, and they will share knowledge and wisdom with you, help you on your journey. And I wonder if it's actually a plant spirits or if it's just opening you up to your higher self and your own intuitive faculties, and you're really just tuning into um, the divine, and that is what is guiding you. So I had an experience with a plant medicine that really did a lot of stuff for me. And one of the things that this medicine does is it slows down or like kind of stops your perception of time. And I was really curious about that, and I was wondering what the point of that was. And I literally asked, I was like, what's the point of you stopping the perception of time for me? And the answer that I got was that that is the only way that you're going to be able to understand what it is that I have to teach you. And I kind of contemplated that for a second, and it made a lot of sense because outside of our perceptions, like how we are sitting here right now, and our perception of time and our perception of thought, and how everything's really kind of crystallized and solidified into a point of reference for us to be able to keep our feet on the ground um, within this body and within this reality. But outside of that, and that is, and that has its place, that has its place. But outside of that and beyond that, because honestly, like that point of perception is like going to be a transient thing. Like we're not going to be here forever. So that point of perception is not going to be there forever. So, you want to, sometimes, you want to explore and you want to go beyond that. And outside of that, there is no time. Outside of, you know, and I've had a lot of contemplations about my own impermanence and stuff like that. So, like, say for instance, like when you die and the body goes away and your perceptions go away and your mind goes away and it all dissolves, well, then, time no longer is going to exist for you. Things are not going to exist within a space of time. And the divine does not exist within a space of time. The divine does not exist within a linear point of perception. It's the reason why perceptions exist in the first place. So that kind of like moves out of the way in order for you to really tap into that and to learn from the perspective of the divine, because the divine doesn't perceive from any one point in time linearly. And also, like, it taught me that, like, the ego has a really big problem with when it feels like it can't control the movement of time, when things aren't happening at the time that it wants to happen. So it was a really good lesson of surrender for me as well, because I noticed how my ego didn't like the fact that it couldn't control the movement of time, and it felt like it was stuck in kind of like a foreverness uh, kind of situation, like this is never going to end and I don't like it. And your mind will go on to all different kinds of crazy things, um, but yet at the same time, I saw that as like, okay, my ego clearly, that's just another example of how it has this big beef with control and wanting to control things. And that's like one of our biggest hangups, I think. And so it helped me kind of surrender that a little bit. So another thing that I did is like I wanted to, the intention really that I have when I implement these tools is for healing, is for self-discovery, for exploring consciousness. And another thing that I asked this plant was, what's the root of my anxiety? And so I really looked in deep into that, and like it kind of like I remember I had this like broken hearted moment because my anxiety was like an aspect of myself that felt very small and it felt very powerless. And I think that's kind of just like the general um the general makeup of anxiety. Like that's like just how it functions. The mechanics of it is that it feels powerless, it feels small, it feels very overwhelmed, and it just like really broke my heart when I really took a look at that, and I really like, you know had compassion for that aspect of myself. So that really helped out a lot too. And it was a very interesting experience. It was a very interesting discovery. Having that sense of myself. Another thing that I realized, it's like my thought process and my experience of myself was like a fractalized or like an inception, like foreverness that went on for eternity. And I'm almost thinking that that's kind of how um, thought is formed and dissolves. Like it comes out of this and then fall and just like it's like it's very hard to explain. It's like it comes, it arises, and then it goes, and it's like this never-ending um, space that of arising and falling, of rising and falling, arising and falling, that never ends. And it's like an inception. It's like a fractalized um, experience that goes on for eternity. And I'm almost thinking that maybe that's it was trying to teach me like the nature of thought and experience, and where it all comes from and where it all goes back into. So that was really interesting, and I think these things are really valuable to be able to share. I honestly do. I think these things are very valuable. I think these things are worth sharing. I think these things are worth talking about. I've been on this spiritual journey for quite a few number of years. I ran into all different kind of healing modalities, had all different kind of amazing experiences and not so amazing experiences, and I'm learning from each and every moment that I'm here experiencing reality from this point of perspective, and to just honor that and to recognize how hard my body works for this experience, how hard my mind works for me, and how important like our perceptions are, and how important we are as individuals, and we are as human beings, and how much honor we deserve and how much love we deserve for ourselves and for even the painful parts of ourselves. And one thing I would love to see kind of humanity grow out of is the shame, the collective shame for having feelings that aren't perceived as good feelings, being able to share ourselves safely, being able to process safely without feeling shame. One of my resolutions for 2020 was to get rid of shame, is to burn shame away, to not feel ashamed for my feelings, to not feel ashamed for my experiences, for not feeling like my bad feelings are something that I should push away and deny and reject, but actually something to really look at, because I've said in my previous videos that you don't know what your needs are until you get in touch with your feelings. But that does not mean to identify yourself with your pain. Like don't make your pain your identity. Just honor it, have compassion for it, learn from it, let it help you grow, let it help you become a better person from within. But I think, you're giving away your power to it when you're creating an identity out of it and you carry it around with you as if it's truly who you are. It's not who you are. Your pain isn't who you are. It's just something that happened to you, and it's something to grow from, and it's something to learn from. And I think, honestly, if you have the right people with the right perspectives in, you know, the right point of clarity, that really understand these things, it can be very helpful for a lot of people to be able to move through the pain rather than it being something to run away from and deny, reject, and abandon within yourself. Because, you know, I think another thing that I learned is that your pain is an aspect of your ego that refuses to be ignored. Um, your pain is not going to let up until it has your acknowledgement, until it has your attention, and until you give yourself what it is that you need rather than what you want. You know, only then can healing happen. And there is a process that goes with healing. There is cycles that go within emotional healing, and every aspect of yourself deserves honor, respect, love, and compassion through and through. So I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys. I hope everyone's having a good 2020 so far. And please take care of those beautiful hearts of yours, because I've been looking at the news and the, fires in Australia and war and all different kinds of things that are going on right now. And I really, really think that it's time, and it's been time for a lot of us to really start stepping up and to really start getting on this journey and really start, embarking on our own individual paths to be better people, to be more, helpful in society, and to come together and to really, really shift this broken, outdated, dysfunctional paradigm that's really run its course. So take care of your hearts in that process. I love you, and please, do what you can to help others. Do what you can to heal, because this world needs you, and you do play a part, and you are important. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.